In today's world, few places sit at the center of global tension as much as Taiwan. It is a relatively small island, but its position, geographically, economically, and politically, makes it one of the most important flashpoints of the 21st century. For decades, China has claimed Taiwan as part of its territory, while Taiwan has operated with its own government, military, and democratic system. This unresolved situation has created a fragile balance. No formal peace treaty, but no full-scale war either. Many experts describe it as a status quo held together by caution, diplomacy, and the high cost of conflict. When people ask how China could invade Taiwan, they are usually not asking about exact battle plans, but about the broad scenarios that analysts discuss. At the highest level, these scenarios fall into a few categories. One possibility often discussed is pressure without immediate war. This could mean stronger military exercises, economic pressure, cyber operations, or political moves meant to isolate Taiwan internationally and weaken its ability to resist. The goal in such a scenario would be to force concessions without a direct, large-scale conflict. Another possibility is a limited use of force. In this kind of scenario, China might try to demonstrate overwhelming power in a short period of time, hoping that shock, fear, and international hesitation would push Taiwan into negotiations on Beijing's terms. This would not necessarily begin with a full invasion, but with actions meant to change the situation quickly and decisively. The most serious scenario is a full-scale conflict. This would involve massive military operations across air, sea, and cyberspace. However, this is also the riskiest option. Such a conflict would not only affect Taiwan and China, but would almost certainly draw in other major powers and disrupt global trade, technology supply chains, and regional security. Because of these enormous risks, many analysts believe that all sides are still trying to avoid this outcome, even while preparing for the possibility. Understanding how a conflict could happen is only part of the story. The bigger question is why Taiwan is so important on the global stage. First, Taiwan is a critical hub for advanced technology, especially in semiconductor manufacturing. The most advanced computer chips used in smartphones, cars, medical equipment, and military systems are largely produced there. Any major disruption in Taiwan would ripple through the global economy, affecting industries and consumers worldwide. Second, Taiwan sits in a strategic location in East Asia. It lies along key shipping routes and near some of the world's busiest trade corridors. Stability in this region supports global commerce. Instability would threaten supply chains, energy flows, and economic growth far beyond Asia. Third, Taiwan represents a larger political and ideological issue. It is a democratic society with its own political system, and its future is closely watched as a test of how power, influence, and self-determination will be handled in the modern international order. For many countries, what happens to Taiwan is not just a regional issue. It is a signal of how rules, norms, and alliances might hold up under pressure. In the end, the Taiwan question is not only about one island or two governments. It is about global stability, economic security, and the balance of power in a world where major countries are increasingly competing for influence. That is why discussions about Taiwan are often cautious, tense, and filled with warnings about consequences, because the cost of getting it wrong would not be paid by one place alone, but by the entire world. Taiwan's importance comes from more than its size or location. It comes from what it represents, a crossroads where technology, trade, politics, and security all meet. This is why, even when people talk about possible conflict, the deeper hope shared by many is still the same: that diplomacy, restraint, and dialogue can keep a dangerous crisis from becoming a global disaster.